Welcome to another edition of Alpena Community College's Fireside Chats. I'm the Director of Alumni Relations, Mary Egan, and on this episode, I will take you for an insider's look at the World Center for Concrete Technology. You'll find out about the academic degrees that we offer in concrete technology, but you'll also find out that we do a lot more at the World Center for Concrete Technology. It's not just about education in-house, but it's about educating the world about concrete and concrete block. We also do a lot of testing and experimentation over at the WCCT that I think you're going to find pretty interesting. So let's take a walk over to the World Center for Concrete Technology.
The World Center for Concrete Technology is housed in Harris Hall, honoring William P. Harris and his family, who were integral to the formation and success of the Huron-Portland Cement Company. Construction on Harris Hall broke ground in April 1999 and had a budget of about $8 million, the bulk of which was donated by Besser Company and others in the concrete industry. WCCT opened in August 2000 and is home to one of ACC's most famous and respected programs of study.
We are in Harris Hall in the World Center for Concrete Technology, and I'm joined by Dawn Stone, the director of the World Center for Concrete Technology. Welcome to the ACC Fireside Chats.
Thanks.
Could you tell me a little bit about WCCT?
Sure. So the WCCT was built about 20 years ago. We have been, we've had a concrete technology program for a lot more years than that. But about 20 years ago, we saw the need to be able to build and develop the program and offer other services in addition to the traditional Associates of Applied Science program. So the hall was built 20 years ago, and we have a full-size Besser block machine here. We have a full-size testing lab, so we can test concrete for strength and absorption and those kind of things. So this is the WCCT.
And we'll get a little bit more in depth with all of the features, the educational features of the World Center for Concrete Technology. But just looking at this building, it makes me think back to Besser Technical Center, which was originally built to showcase the decorative uses of concrete masonry. And concrete really is, both literally and figuratively, the building block of Alpena Community College. So this is kind of the updated version of the showcase to show what concrete masonry can look like. And it's everything from a ping pong table behind you to paving stones and planters and all sorts of stuff. So it's a little unusual to have a ping pong table, not to mention a concrete ping pong table here in a college. So can you tell me about that?
Sure. So one of the things that that I mentioned is that we wanted to expand our reach when it comes to the concrete industry, and so we had a partnership a number of years ago, before I was here, with a company that wanted to develop concrete ping pong tables for parks, outdoor parks in New York City. And so they came and they tested it, and they figured out whether or not it would work and whether or not they would last. And in return, they gave us this ping pong table.
Well, it's very cool. Do students use it?
They use it every single day, very loudly, and they have a very good time. And when you're in an education program that's intense, this is a wonderful release for them. And it also gives them another example of how concrete is a huge part of our world.
Well, it's a fun part of our world, and I think, I don't know, maybe we should start a competitive concrete ping pong league. Maybe that could be our thing.
Sure,
absolutely. Well, let's go and see some of the other aspects of the World Center for Concrete Technology and learn a little bit more about maybe the educational part of this, and then we'll get into the testing and research.
Sounds good.
We are now in the classroom lab. Now, it doesn't look like your typical classroom, but we do have, well, maybe a typical instructor. This is Eric Kennedy, instructor here in concrete technology at Alpena Community College. And Eric, you've been on board, what, about a year now?
Yep, 1 year.
So are you an alumnus of the program?
Yep, so I graduated the concrete tech program in 2009. I went through here, and then I went on and worked in industry for about 11 years, and then I was lucky enough to get a job back here after Kevin Sylvester retired.
So how do you feel that your education here at Alpena Community College prepared you for the workforce at Concrete Tech?
Yeah, so I mean, here, you get well versed in many different aspects of the industry, which I worked in many different parts, and that's kind of what we do. We give everybody kind of a footstep in the door, because we have block, we teach a block class, we teach a place concrete class, we teach precast, aggregate, cements, so admixtures. Every different part of the industry that you're going to go into, we kind of dabble in. We don't teach you everything, but that's what you do when you get out there, so it really gets you a footstep in the door.
So what are the kind of things that you do here in the classroom lab?
Yes, we do many different things. As you can see in front of us, here's a pervious slab. This was actually made in Tim Onspotter, the other instructor's lab this year. You can actually pour a bucket of water right through it, and it's gonna, as fast as you can pour it in there, it's gonna take it out. So you don't need a lot of, storm drain systems, retention ponds, things like that. It naturally filters the runoff, the oils, the salts, everything that comes off your car, right through it without having these retention ponds and things like that. All right, so this is a pervious slab, and just as usually, we're gonna pour it right through the slab. You can see it going through the bottom there, and we usually measure it in gallons per minute. Some people students have done full year research projects on the pervious concrete slabs where they find out and get a little more in depth into it.
And so what are they using this for out in the real world?
Yeah, so sidewalks, parking structures, they're actually using some of it for backfill behind retention walls, so that the water doesn't sit behind those walls and put more pressure on so it can drain through. Anywhere that doesn't have high traffic volumes, we can use this pervious concrete because it's not as durable. You can't use it on a freeway and things like that, but small parking lots, sidewalks, areas trying to just get the water out of it.
That's really cool. Now we have an example of maybe more of the decorative uses of concrete. Not that it's not also functional, Eric, but tell me about this. Well, it looks like a sculpture.
Yeah, so this is a Michigan mold that when we didn't make our concrete canoes in precast class, which is anything that's made beforehand, a mire that goes out to a building, it's all tilted up, it's made beforehand in a controlled environment. So usually we make something like this Michigan mold here. We make it, usually self-consolidating concrete. You can put any different kinds of aggregates in it to make it look like anything you want, basically. You want it to look like granite, marble. I mean, you can make it look a lot different, it's glow in the dark. Yeah, I mean, nobody would really think it's concrete. You can polish it up, you can make it look really nice. And you can use it for concrete countertops, like I said, precast concrete. There's many different applications for things like this.
And this glows in the dark?
Yes, this glows in the dark, so if we had the chance, we could kill the lights for the video, we could show that it does glow in the dark, yeah.
Well, also it's nice for your kitchen because if you get up in the middle of the night for cookies and milk, as I do, you don't even have to turn on a light. It's perfect.
Yeah, so a lot of people use them too for like indoor or pathways up to your house, things like that to kind of light the way so you don't have to put solar lights and things like that. So.
That's really clever.
Yeah.
Cool. And I feel like I'm being attacked by something, Eric. What is this?
So this is concrete canoe.
Of course it is.
Made in 2002, so this is an older one. This is one we've always kept around for years. Back when we had the auto body shop, they had some friends that were in the auto body, so they got it nice and finished up and painted really nice. So it looks really good. So we've kept this one around for many years.
And how much does this weigh? This is thick.
Yeah, this one weighs probably about 300 pounds, I would say. This one's on the lighter side compared to the ones that we made this year, which were a little bit thicker and a little bit longer. So, but usually the concrete weighs itself. We usually measure in pounds per cubic foot, so about 50 pounds per cubic foot, which is about a third of what normal concrete is going to be.
Okay, so this down here is kind of what the
so
vessel, shall we call it, the ship is.
Yeah, so this is a part of it. You can see it's got some expanded glass, lightweight aggregates in there.
Okay.
They only weigh probably about 5 pounds per cubic foot, so that's how we get concrete to actually float in water. We use some lightweight aggregates inside of it so it can float in water. So
in this year's concrete canoe race, which I know is a tradition with the program, who won?
I don't like to brag, but me and Tim Onspotter, we took this old one from 2002 out on the water, and we beat the students handily. We were at the other end of the pond.
And does this have a name? Like, you usually name ships, so does the canoe have a name?
This one you'd have to ask these guys that signed it back in the day, so this would, I'll let them name it themselves, but we could just call it the winner for this year.
The winner. All right, there's no trash talking at all. All right, so you're talking about concrete that floats, which is something that a lot of people may not realize is even possible. So you have a little demonstration here for us.
Yeah, so a lot of people would say, when you think concrete, it's heavy, you pick it up, and even at 300 pounds, or the ones we had 500-600 pounds, some people still say, how does that float on water? Well, it's more of how many pounds per cubic foot it has to weigh. So this one right here is about 55 pounds per cubic foot. This is a cylinder from this year, Thursday's group, so I'm just going to put it in the fish tank here. And I'll show you that actually, this is how the concrete canoes float on water. We actually have to use a lot of lightweight aggregates to get it to float in water.
That's amazing. So, do you have like bobbing for concrete competitions, things like that?
That'll be something we'll have to bring into future years, right?
You could partner with a dental school.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So, looking at more of the fun side of the classroom lab for Concrete Tech, maybe next we will go look at some of the services that we offer for industry with research and testing. And so I think Dawn Stone is going to join me again.
Perfect.
Dawn Stone has joined me once again in probably the most impressive classroom of sorts at Alpena Community College. This really goes to our whole history at Alpena Community College, which of course the land that we sit on was donated by Jesse Besser. So we've come a full circle and we're now here at the Besser block making workshop room, or what do we call it?
That's actually a pretty good description. So one of the things that we do here at the WCCT is we train block makers from across the world to become the best block makers they can be. Because as you mentioned before, our entire world is built on concrete block. But unless that concrete block is made properly, with the correct additives and the correct mix design, it's not going to hold up all of our buildings, right? So the classes, we bring people in from across the world, and we have a lot of time in the classroom to talk about some of the technicalities of what makes a good block. But then it's really important for all these people to be able to apply what they've learned in the classroom. So through the generosity of Besser Company, and a lot of other partners, we actually have a fully operational, full-scale Besser block machine here.
I'm not sure people realize that this whole room is a block machine in essence. So the partnership that we have with Besser not only goes back to our history and their philanthropy, but it also goes to our future and producing the highest quality block makers, not just internally with our Concrete Tech program, but people come here, as you said, from all over the world. So it's very impressive. And how often do we get folks that come here for the workshop?
So we do 1-week classes, and we run about 6 in the fall and about 6 in the spring. We usually have 10 to 20 students in each of the classes. So we've actually, over the years, trained a lot of block makers on utilizing this equipment. So it's really a neat endeavor because, we live in a fairly rural area. And so to have this partnership with Besser and to be able to bring folks in from across the world is really a wonderful, economic development and, cultural development. It's been a fantastic experience, and I look forward to continuing that.
Well, let's talk to some of the people who make this all run.
Sounds good.
I'm joined by Andrew Morris, who is, what's your job title?
Technical Service Representative.
At Besser.
Yes.
And you just graduated from Alpena Community College's Concrete Tech program. When?
Just this past month,
Couple weeks ago, yeah. And you immediately got a job with Besser.
Yes.
And you're back here at Alpena Community College. So, Andrew, I know you just started just a few days ago working for Besser, and you haven't really gotten your feet wet, but for ACC, I know you're kind of in charge of maintaining the block machine here. And so for Besser, you'll be doing kind of the same thing?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. Here at ACC, I do help maintain and keep the place clean for visitors and whatnot. But actually at Besser, we will be traveling and going to help replace parts or fix and help teach to operate the actual block machine.
So how long did it take you? I mean, do you know what all this stuff does? At this point, this is incredible.
No, not all of it, no.
But you'll learn.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Yeah.
Slowly.
So I detect an accent. So where are you from?
North Carolina.
So what brought you to Alpena and what made you choose to go so far away from home to start a concrete tech program in northern Michigan?
My wife is actually from Oscoda, so we moved here, and then I found out about the program, and I was really interested, so I came.
And how do you feel that the program here prepared you for your career in concrete tech?
Halfway through both of the years, you get to do a summer internship program, and you interview like you're getting an actual job, and you get to choose either if you go ready mix or block. And I chose to go the block route, and I worked with Old Castle in Castlehane, North Carolina, and I learned a lot there. I actually worked inside the plant, and I got to test a couple of blocks. And,
Oh, that's neat.
Yep, I learned a lot. So.
Well, soon you're going to learn a lot more about block making, and you'll be teaching others. So we're thrilled to have the partnership with Besser. It's a continuing relationship that Alpena Community College enjoys, and I think it's a reciprocal relationship, obviously, getting to use this facility to train block makers all over the world, and soon you're going to be a part of that, and we're very proud to have you as lumberjack.
Thank you.
A lot of people don't know that there are 3 aspects to the World Center for Concrete Technology. Obviously, there's the educational component with our associate's degree at Alpena Community College. Then there is the Block Makers Workshop. And finally, there's research and testing. And we do that for outside businesses. They come to us, even governmental entities we do testing for. And Dawn Stone is joining me again to talk a little bit more about that program, which a lot of people don't know about at Alpena Community College.
Right, so, we saw the block plant, and one component of the testing is that we will actually rent out the block plant to companies, and they'll put different additives and things into their concrete mix, run it through the block machine, create block, and then we test those for strength and absorption and freeze and thaw capacity, those kind of things. So we also help local businesses and regional businesses when they cast cylinders. They'll bring those to us, and we'll put them here in this chamber to to cure, and then we'll test those for things like strength and absorption, and just make sure that the concrete that they're pouring out in the field meets the specs necessary to keep us all safe. Nobody wants a road or a bridge that is built with concrete that's not strong enough.
Well, and I think that's something that all of us take for granted. You just think, well, you have the building materials, you use them as directed, and you get the end result. But it's really important to make sure that what you're using is safe and effective, and that is something obviously we all want as citizens, and Alpena Community College is able to offer that. So we have the curing chamber. Tell me about the curing chamber. This is a little intimidating.
So the curing chamber is where we put our cylinders and allow the concrete to cure. And it's kept at a certain temperature and a certain relative humidity, so that it all is like the perfect environment for concrete. So then we can test it and make sure that it's going to be above what we need it to be, so that it stays strong out in the field.
So we have the curing chamber behind us, and it's kind of intimidating looking. Curing chamber says it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 95% relative humidity, and I'm assuming that is the ideal conditions for concrete to cure.
Correct.
So what does it look like in there?
Well, it is a chamber. So are you ready?
It's a little scary. It's a chamber of secrets
No,
here.
it's always kept damp, and it's always kept warm. So it stands to reason that it wouldn't be the prettiest of environments, but it certainly serves the purpose of keeping the concrete at the ideal situation. So yeah.
So Alpena Community College several years ago was awarded a National Science Foundation grant, which is a big deal for anyone, but especially on the community college level. So can you tell me a little bit about what the grant afforded us to do?
Absolutely. So yeah, the National Science Foundation has historically only issued research and development grants to large research universities. So this was kind of this was a huge deal for us to be awarded this National Science Foundation grant. And what the project was to identify whether or not carbon could be sequestered from concrete. So one of the issues, of course, is the release of carbon into the environment. And concrete does release a lot of carbon, and that's unfortunate. So the research project had to do with whether or not they could sequester that carbon from concrete block. So we actually ran the block in the block plant and then built a carbon sequestration machine.
So it kind of sucked it out?
It did.
Okay.
And then we tested the block to make sure that it would stay strong. So it was kind of a nice synergy. It was a whole process of making block be more environmentally friendly. We received some awards for it. It was very cool.
That's so neat.
Yeah.
And what a feather in our cap that as a community college we were able to do that and do it so well.
Right, absolutely.
So a lot of people think that the concrete technology program is just all hands-on stuff. You're pouring concrete, you're testing things in the lab that we saw earlier, but in actuality there's a lot of classroom study that backs up all of that hands-on knowledge. We have to have the classroom knowledge first, I would imagine. So I guess I'd really like to know what makes the Concrete Tech program so unique here at Alpena Community College.
I think it's so unique because, we give everybody a little bit of taste of industry. You do a summer internship between your first and second year, which gets you ready. You come back with some knowledge so that we can really, talk about some things that you saw and maybe you didn't understand it. We can talk about it a little bit more. We can talk about it in the classroom. We're more a material science, end of things where we don't get out there and, we'll teach you how to finish flat work if that's what you want to do, but we're more into mix design, specifications, doing submittals, things that are behind the scenes that sometimes you don't see in a lot of big projects, so we get you ready to go into many different parts of that industry.
And it's the things that really make concrete buildings safe, effective, have quality products. Obviously, Besser is second to none when it comes to block making and concrete masonry, and that's something that we specialize in here at Alpena Community College. And I know that it may be a surprise to people to see us in a classroom, and also such a technologically advanced classroom. You've been able to use virtual learning, I know, during the COVID shutdown, and we'll probably integrate that into your program at large.
Yeah, so we it isn't a perfect world, but it's more than what we could do before we had this technology. Before people would go home, you do YouTube videos, they watch them. Now we can have them right up on the screen. We can talk to them as if they're almost sitting in the classroom. So now, the silver lining to it all is now we can get outreach to a lot of high schools that are out there that want to know more about what is concrete technology, what is utility tech, what are these programs here offered at ACC. We can offer our intro to concrete to these high schools out there virtually, which I'll be teaching in the fall here, 2-3 classes, Inland Lakes, I think Rogers City, a couple area outreaches around here that we have. And then they can see, what are we really about here, and then so they can possibly get signed up for the program if that interests them. So it's kind of the silver lining of all this. We can get guest speakers to come in, we can do virtual tours. With this technology now, there is some benefits to it for us.
And it is that silver lining of the COVID shutdown that we discovered new ways of teaching, new ways of learning that we'll be able to integrate into all of our programs here at ACC.
Yeah.
And it's neat to see us be able to do that with our premier program with concrete technology.
Yeah, definitely.
So what kind of careers do we really prepare students for once they go through the concrete technology program here at Alpena Community College?
So there's an array of different jobs, as I kind of mentioned before. We kind of give everybody just kind of footprint in the door to the different parts of the industry that are available out there. So if you want to go work at anybody that works out on the road, you see an MDOT truck out there, you see a consultant, some engineering firms out there. Most of those are past grads. They're going to come back and then they're going to interview our students as they, get to the company, come back. And that's just one of the job opportunities, Besser Company, any kind of old castle, parts that are out in the block industry, that's out there. Precast concrete, which we have a class on, so that's anything that's pre-made in a facility, then it gets tilted up, so any kind of quality assurance, quality control, stuff like that a lot of people are into. So a lot of different job opportunities, as well as, everything that goes into concrete, cement, the aggregates, the admixtures, all that has to be tested in some way, shape, or form. If you like to go into sales, if you like to work indoors, outdoors, a lot of the other instructor always like to say, take a map of the United States, throw a dart at it, and you could find a job anywhere out there in any different parts. If you like indoors, outdoors, if you're a people person, if you're not, we got all kinds of jobs that are going to suit you.
And that's what this board represents. These are all job opportunities for the graduates of Alpena Community College's Concrete Tech program. And I think this is really the best testament to the quality of our program here, that employers are seeking out our students. They know that they're going to get an employee that has a high quality education, that has the knowledge that they need to be successful in the field, and this really says it all.
Yeah, this is this is one of the boards that we're seeing here. We got another board. They're usually both hang on the floor full, and then, this is usually something people see when they come in, and their eyes open up and they light up. And this is just some of the jobs where, like you said, people are coming here to interview our students. Probably on average 30 companies come here a year just to interview our students. One of our students this year had 12 job offers coming out of the program, So a lot of these jobs on here, they're taking multiple people if they can too. And people do summer internships, so these are internships plus full-time jobs. So they might be taking 3, 4. Some companies come in, they would hire every single person that if they could, 15, 20, 30 people. There's that much need out in the industry for people. So jobs are out there for everybody.
So looking at this job board, obviously Alpena Community College graduates are in high demand in the industry. Why is that? What is the edge that ACC students have that maybe other students from other programs don't?
So we offer here, after you get done with your first year, we teach a mix design class, which we teach about mix designs a little bit, but a lot of it is getting you ready for your ACI and MCA level 1 certification. So
what do those stand for, just for folks who don't know?
Michigan Concrete Association and American Concrete Institute offer certifications. So if you live in a state, you gotta get Michigan certified. If like if I work for Lafarge, we're a nationwide company, I only have to be American Concrete Institute certified. So we can get those, we offer those certifications here. MCA kind of host it, and they come right on site here, and then we get the certification done right towards the end of the school year for our students, which they come right here. So most people have to go down to Lansing, have to pay, probably $1,000 for the certification. Our students get it at a deep discount. So it's $200 up front. If you pass certification, you get another $100 back. That includes all your books, binders. So you basically pay $100 for the binders. And that's something we have through the MCA, where they offer scholarships up here. They give us a discount on we just have a good working relationship with the Michigan Concrete Association.
So it's certainly impressive, and I know people who are watching, maybe they know someone who's about to make a choice about where to go to college, or they're thinking about changing careers. If they have questions about the Concrete Tech program here at Alpena Community College, who do they reach out to?
Yeah, so they can reach out to me, Eric Kennedy, or Tim Onswater, one of the 2 instructors here. You can go on ACC's website, you can go to programs, you can go under concrete technology. There's my email there, there's Tim's email there. You can sift through, you can see the curriculum, what's going to get taught, and there's a lot of good information on there that you can find.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and educating me, especially, and all of our alumni and viewers about the Concrete Technology program here at the World Center for Concrete Technology at Alpena Community College.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for joining us for a look at what the World Center for Concrete Technology offers. WCCT represents an innovative, mutually beneficial partnership between the college and private business. The concrete industry's continued investment in Alpena Community College has resulted in a steady supply of highly educated concrete professionals who go on to become both concrete industry customers and employees. The WCCT is the only research facility in the world with a state-of-the-art computer-controlled Besser V312 concrete masonry production plant, which concrete professionals from all over the globe visit to gain Master Blockmaker certification. These unique features are part of what makes the World Center for Concrete Technology at Alpena Community College so respected throughout the global concrete industry community. If you'd like to arrange a tour of WCCT, contact me, ACC Director of Alumni Relations Mary Egan, by emailing alumni@alpinacc.edu.